Hey guys, this is Bruce, and welcome to another ConvoCourses podcast mini where we're just going to take one comment and then focus on that. Now, if you want to join our conversation, it's ongoing. Like, all you got to do is comment on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, wherever your favorite social media platform is. I'm there. It's at ConvoCourses, and that's where we have the conversation. You can ask questions. You can actually chat with me on my lives. I do my longest live, most interactive is on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But the conversation is ongoing. So anytime you want to jump in, feel free. And actually at ConvoCourses.com is where we have a community there too. Tons of downloadables, free stuff, books if you join my newsletter. And ConvoCourses.net, I've got a ton of downloadables and free and discounted stuff there. So let's get into this question. So I have actually two questions that are regarding certification. So I would like to talk about that and just kind of give you guys my 2 cents on it, and introduce a couple of other takes on the whole thing. So there was actually two. One came from JJ Anderson, and he said that he had to take the CISSP twice, and he says failure makes you one step closer to success. I agree, and but congratulations on passing that CISSP. I've been in the industry for more than a decade, and I read for the CAP, also now known as the CGRC official. He read the book for the official guide for the CAP, and actually I read that one too. And he read two books on this one, and he said he read both books in 2 weeks and passed the CAP and this also known as the CGRC exam yesterday. Congratulations. And it took him less than an hour to complete, and he says that the CGRC seems to be more aligned with and make more sense for an ISO or an ISM role than a CISSP. Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. CISSP is so broad that it covers so much ground that as to lose its meaning, in my personal opinion. Not to say it's a great cert. I mean, it changed my life. It's probably changed my life more than a degree did, to be honest with you. I mean, just to be honest with you. But that said, it's not very specific. It's very generalized, and the CAP is very specific for an ISO type stuff that you need to know, whereas the CISSP is so broad that there's so many things to choose from. Not to say that it's completely useless, but probably the CAP is a little bit better, or the C, now known as the CGRC. So I agree with you there. Another question that disagrees with me somewhat on something I said in a video where I kind of and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I went too far about this, but I said in the video that certifications are just just a piece of paper, and it's a check mark that you use. Yeah. So anyway, let me read his comments about this, and then I'll expand on my own personal opinion about it. He said, Bear Effect says, Bruce, you mentioned the certification is just a check mark in the resume. Yes and no. The IT field is constantly upgrading and changing, and not encouraging for me to not encourage people to update their resume isn't a good thing. And he says, just like you mentioned before, there are guys that don't have the CISSP. Yes, it is a very complex certificate to acquire. However, that makes it very important and challenging certification, especially in the field like IT, where suddenly everybody can be a developer, a network engineer, a cybersecurity analyst without education. I do promote certificates because it shows an individual's interest to keep up with the industry and not become complacent. So, and I said, you know what? That's a great argument, and I can't disagree with that. So let me just, all right. So listen, I'm somebody who I have a lot of certifications, right? I have a lot, and actually the CISSP, like I said, it changed my life. Like, it changed it probably more so than my degrees. The CISSP single-handedly, I saw a marked change in my whole, like, what people were offering me, what people saw in me, everything. It's a powerful certification, the gold standard of security certifications, by marketability. What I meant, I think that in our industry, there's too much of an emphasis on certifications and not enough on experience. And I just get every day 4 or 5 questions a day of people asking me, what certifications do I have? What certification should they get? What certification for this? What certification for that? And I wanted to emphasize that I wanted to say that experience is above all that stuff. Experience is above degrees and certifications. It's very, very important that you get hands-on skills if you're trying to be a network engineer. It's very important that you get hands-on skill if you're trying to be a Splunk analyst. If you're trying to write documents for a CISSP, for a system security plan, for a plan of action and milestone. If you're trying to learn Nmap, if you want to understand how servers work, it's best to get hands-on and get experience and get in the field. I'm not saying don't get a certification. I'm not saying don't get a degree. Those are great. A degree shows, in my mind, a degree is better than a certification because it shows that you have a longevity. You're going to go in there, while they're not very specific, but it expands your horizon. And also it shows that this is a person who's dedicated. This is a person who's willing to who's going to stick with this career path and not suddenly change to something else. And it gives you a broader range of what you know. So in my mind, a degree is superior than a certification. That said, a certification is very specific, especially for vendor certifications, industry certifications. They're focusing in on one thing. Like if it's a CompTIA Security Plus, it's focusing on all of the common body of knowledge you need to know for security. I'm not saying don't get a certification. I'm saying your main focus should be tiered. The first thing should be experience. You don't necessarily have to get a degree next, but if you have the means, the time, the resources to do one, I would say yes, go do that. If you can't do that, that's fine. Now focus on a certification. At the very least, your focus on a certification should be at the same level as your experience, like getting the experience. Those two things should be at least neck and neck, but I would say experience should be top. Try to get the experience of removing viruses, experience of connecting a network, experience of putting a firewall up, using an IPS and IDS. These are things you can actually do on your own. Like these are things that you can make projects in your own home. These are things that you can actually do on your own time. In addition to, if you're in school, volunteering your time. In addition to in your community, volunteering your time. That, like, if you have an uncle who has a salon or something, you can set up Wi-Fi in their office. Like, you need to get experience. You have to know how this stuff works. It's more important than a certification, in my opinion. Having done this for many years, when I meet somebody who has no experience but have a degree, I have to teach that person like they're a baby. Now, that person's going to know some stuff. That's great. So I'm going to teach them faster than somebody who doesn't know anything and doesn't have a degree or a certification or anything, hasn't cracked the book. That person I'm going to have, that's not even a baby. Like, they're not going to be useful in the organization for at least a year, like maybe 8 months to a year. But a person who actually has a degree, a certification, that's great. Like, that means you did the common body of knowledge that you need to know. I'm not speaking another language when I'm telling you that we have to put TCP/IP protocols on the system or whatever. Like, we can talk about what a NIC is and how that NIC is going to communicate with another NIC that's on another network across town. So you would know what that means. You would have an idea. Okay, we need to get an IP address. You would know that. You would know, well, does that NIC work? What's going on? You know how to troubleshoot the problems because you already have a knowledge already. So that's good. But an experienced person will already have, like, they're like, yo, I did this before. I know what to do now. Experience trumps all that stuff. So I guess I should back up a little bit and say, listen, I've got a lot of certifications. So for me to tell you not to get one would be hypocritical, to say the least. I'm telling you, put experience here, put certifications here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When I said it's checking a box for your resume, he's right. Yes and no. So it depends on how you use it. Like if you go out and brain dump a bunch of certifications, which people you can do, like you can go grab the answers off the internet and then pass a test, right? You can just memorize all the answers. What I'm telling you to do is don't do that. What I'm telling you is if you're going to get a certification, know the knowledge, like actually know what is going on. If you're doing a CEH, actually download the tools that it's telling you about. Don't just memorize what Nmap is and the commands. Do the commands. Use them in an environment and you're on your own computer network. Use those tools that the CEH is talking about. Actually practice what they're talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like, put it into practice. Get the certification for the purpose of learning more and doing more. And then get the certification. And then the certifications is legit. If you're just trying to get certifications to put it on your resume, then that is just checking a box. So you're not learning the information. You can literally go out and get all the answers right now, memorize them, go over them over and over again, and go take the test and pass it, and then put it on your resume. And then what do you have? What do you have? You have a checkbox. It depends on how you use it. And I'm encouraging you, anybody who's listening to me, if you're interested in certifications or whatever, get the certification. Yes, but use the common. This is what I've done. So the most effective way to get the certification is to learn the common body of knowledge that's in the A+ certification, the Security Plus certification, wherever level you happen to be at, right? If you've been in this for a long time, you probably don't want to do A+, you want to go Security Plus or CISSP or whatever. But learn the common body of knowledge, set up a lab, do stuff with the common body of knowledge, learn it, like absorb the information. That way, when you get in the field, it's not just rote memory that you don't understand. It's stuff that you get because you worked on it. If you are trying to be a DBA, set up an Oracle database on your system and mess around with SQL language. Do the work is what I'm trying to tell you. Don't just memorize stuff to pass and check a box. For your resume, I talk a lot about resumes on here because the techniques that I've done over the years have really worked for me. So I'm trying to tell other people how to do it. People do not listen to me about this. It's probably my best stuff, to be honest with you. To be perfectly honest, my best stuff is resume stuff because it's really got me a lot of jobs. And the certifications that you put on there definitely work. Let me just tell you. The certifications definitely work, but you got to know the knowledge. If you know the knowledge, you can put more stuff on your resume, by the way. If you've actually set up a lab, if you've actually messed around with, I don't know, the tools of your trade, whatever they happen to be, if you're digital forensics, it's going to be things like Encase, FTK, network, Wireshark or something like that, network packet analysis, things like that, is what you're going to be doing. If you're doing help desk stuff and you're just kind of new to this, you're going to be doing A+ type stuff, troubleshooting a laptop, seeing why it's not working on the network. You're going to be doing stuff like uploading patches, like how does that work? You're going to be maybe messing around with a Linux system for the first time or a Mac system for the first time and messing around with the configurations on the back end of your Windows system. Those are all common body of stuff that you need to know as you're getting the certification. And that way the certification actually means something. So I guess that's what I really meant about it. I'm not telling you don't get a cert. They are very important to your resume. They're going to help you to upgrade, especially if you don't plan on going to school, a college, and if you can't afford it. And I understand it, like universities are getting crazy with the prices and stuff. But if that's you and you want to get a certification, absolutely go do it, man. Like I've got a ton of certifications. So what does it look like telling me you not to get one? But get the experience, put the experience here and put the certification here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I hope that clears things up. This dude is right. Shout out to him. Bear Effects. Thank you, man, for putting me, put me on game and give me another perspective, another way to think about it. So, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I actually, we don't disagree. So, That's it. I hope I'm not misunderstood about this. And that's it, guys. Listen, if you guys want to join this conversation on a regular basis, like we're doing now, we do this every week. We're actually constantly talking amongst each other. That's why it's Convo Courses. Join me on ConvoCourses.com. Tons of free downloadables and discounts on ConvoCourses.net. If you want to invest in yourself and you want to invest your time and energy into learning more stuff and getting those certifications, ConvoCourses.net. Check it out. That's it for this one, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. See you tomorrow.